This is the M5 Builds gunship. Straight from Instagram, this thing is amazing and looks incredible, and comes to what most mock builders seem as the solution for a great looking gunship but for a great price, costing only £100 on Bricklink. But does this affect the structure and the design? I'll be back to answer. When we were introduced to the front of the model, it looks really great. The lime green just works really nicely with the little gaps really accurate to the model with the ball turret. Moving up to the bubble cockpits, they look great, and even inside you have a little control panel, which is a really nice feature on top. I was going to build on my point of this model being fragile. In the cockpits you have a really nice chair built with it, and another little sort of control panel in it. A really great feature and looks really great on this model. Building on the side of the model we get really great, but one little flaw that we do get quite a sizable gap from the increase. At the very front it looks really great, but as it progresses it just does widen a bit. Just a little bit of an effect, but personally I don't mind too much as it's still quite well hidden up when shown front on. Moving around to the midsection, we're introduced to the doors for the first time. Now these things are very good, but they are quite flimsy. You can see there can be quite big gaps created from the effect, even when pushed in, which was done right before filming. They do just sort of get a gap, but the insides are really quite impressive. These doors are split into two sections accurately. So you hold them out and they come out quite well, but you need to be quite slow with them so they don't break. And it has a really nice interior with great sort of handlebar use at the top, and it does just look really nice. Now the figures do look really great just inside, and there is really great angles on the base. It just looks really nice using the cheese slopes. But yeah, they're working quite well, and really nice design for the interior. Another really nice design choice made by the designer is to include these snot, and so you can see through them. So when pressed all the way in, yeah, you can have some figures looking out. I would recommend, if you do want to have a better effect, maybe putting some lights in to take away some of the shadows, but it's really nice. And yeah, the doors are quite weak. That is just a flaw within the design choice for this. On the back doors, this feature isn't as bad, as due to the connection, it's connected onto double, which just right there, so it stops it from moving. Unlike on the front door where there's a small little gap, and it is annoying, but it's a good takeaway. The one thing that I do feel like that price does affect on this model. Moving on up from the doors, we are introduced to the wings, which do house the rocket systems. Now these things look really great, but are quite fragile, they'll fall off. My one recommendation is that you put a small pin into it, and it's just rolled away, and then just slide these back on. It does just increase stability, and looking there, that isn't going to fall. Moving down, you do get really nice knot techniques, just moving the dark red colour scheme down. And yeah, I am missing the bubble cockpit for these, but even alone they still look really good, and there's not that much of an effect on them. I do have to say the back of the model does look quite good. It's definitely not my favourite view, but it still does look good. You've almost got a little face now. Oh, you can see that now. But yeah, it looks really nice. This just perfect sloping, creates really nice effect. You do have a little turret on the back which can be adjusted to your use. And yeah, it works well. It slides in nicely, and it's a great technique. At the start of this video I mentioned quite a bit about structure and how price maybe affects it, and there are a couple areas which do. At the front here we've got this sort of turret which does look good, but it's connected very loosely on this and can be very hard to reconnect. There it will just constantly pop off. It's annoying, but it is one thing that I do find price maybe affects. And definitely on the back of the model we have the whole thing is held up ingeniously, but just by this little brown here. There's nothing on the inside, and it can mean that the model can take quite a hit when it goes backwards. It's good, but definitely something that I think price. So all my final thoughts on this model. Personally, I can see why it's so popular for mock building. It's really great. It's one of the cheapest variants I've ever seen. It's got a great size. It's a little bit smaller than other gunships, say compared to the Lego model. It's a bit smaller, definitely on the wings. But it is really nice. There are maybe one or two little flaws, but for the price, I think it's acceptable. It's quite strong, a little bit weak in areas, but for the majority, it's a very strong model. And obviously, custom models will always be a bit weaker than a normal, but it is really good, and I highly recommend it. There's also different variants. I've seen that M5 Fields has got a Wolfpack variant, which I'm definitely looking forward to, so keep an eye out, and you might see a review of that on the channel in some time. But yeah, it's really great. I'm definitely going to use this in more mocks, and yeah, perfect model. Great for the price, and really great for mock building. Thank you for watching, and keep an eye out. We'll have some more reviews out shortly.